Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 100 days of HARDCORE Ark Survival Evolved on the center map. Hey yo, what's up? Before we get into the video, a couple of mentions. Luke the Notable for the 100 days idea. Zanny Zebra with the cool PC settings that I use for some of them. Nightshade for the videos on the artifacts. And the legend himself or herself. I don't really know. Shave for that awesome post on bosses. To you guys, thank you very much for helping this Ark Mobile Scriiib. So, let's get into it. Right off the bat, I went ahead to craft our first tools, weapons, and armor. I ain't taking any chances this time around. This is Ark PC, and it is much more unforgiving than Ark Mobile. So, yeah, that includes you, dodos. Then turned our attention to crafting our first base to protect us from the creatures of the night. Ugh, hideous thing. It is day 2, my fellow friends, and I went ahead to craft a couple of necessary items back at base, a bed, and some modern pistols. I then decided to go and tame our first ever dino, which, to be honest, I really wanted to tame in Moschops because I know you can ride them on PC. So it seemed like a good choice, and I went out looking for one, though we came out short because I had nothing to offer them. So I turned to a Lystro instead. It took quite a while, but eventually we tamed him and named him Liechtenstein. Day 3, and I was reminded how much of trolls they are in Ark PC. They either want to get you or get your stuff. So we had to deal with one of those pesky little dinos, and with some really cool boulder skills. Nani? Yeah, what I meant to say was, with cool boulder skills, we were able to get this one this time around. Still in pursuit of a rideable dino, I had the levels to tame a parasol. Yes, well, I could tame it without the levels, but I had the levels to craft and saddle, if you know what I mean. And to my amazement, we found one, a decent one, and knocked it a few times with our club and got it down. But inevitably, we had to deal with a horde of compies. I didn't think I was going to escape this one. By day 4, with Patrick and Liechtenstein by my side, I had a sense of fatherhood. I needed to protect my kids from the dangerous world outside, so I went ahead and crafted a couple of spikes for defenses back at base. And to my surprise, there was an intruder, which was mind-boggling because our spikes didn't really affect it. Worked out to our advantage, because we were able to trap the trike so we could possibly tame it later on. Day 5, peeps, and I went ahead to upgrade our base to full wood tier, which actually turned out really cool. Gave us a little old western kind of vibe. Then went out to grab a couple of resources so we could make our forge, and took a walk with Patrick up the island to a really cool metal spot and grabbed a couple of those so we could get on with getting our smithy and get things rolling. Day 6, we had some metal ingots, which we could use to craft our first couple of metal tools. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Went ahead to make ourselves some tea and biscuits. Wait, what? Nah, I'm just checking to see if you guys were awake. Anyways, what we actually did was go and tame the trike we trapped the other day. And of course, it was an easy tame. We had it trapped and we had the right tools for it. So, yeah, it was done. Easy peasies, man. On day 7, whilst on a stroll about with our trike, which I named Tyson, apparently it being a female, so don't know how that works out. But anyways, I went ahead to upgrade our armor from cloth tier to high tier. While we were on this mission, I spotted a max level Pteranodon. Yes, peeps, 150, and I just had to tame it. Of course, why would you leave this opportunity? It's right there for you. So that's what we did. Bouldered it, of course, and then gave it a couple of tranks. Got it down and then decided to take on a Bronto for some prime meat. Wasn't the best decision ever, but it worked. Day 8 was quite interesting because I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to take on an alpha megalodon with my crossbow and arrows. Yeah, at the time of voiceovers, I'm quite confused myself. But yeah, luckily we got saved by a raptor attacking my parasaur. Lucky it didn't attack me. I tried to tame it, but it got away from me, and apparently just fed the alpha megalodon some food. Yeah, later on, there were a couple of raptors that I tried to tame as well, but yeah, that didn't work out either. Oh, did I mention there was a Kana also trying to attack us? Yeah, well, that didn't end well. For the Kana, that is. Oh, by the way, I did get what I was looking for. XP for the Pteranodon saddle. Day 9 after acquiring the Pteranodon saddle engram, I went ahead and grabbed the resources needed as quick as I could to get up and flying so we could do some damage to the center. I'm just kidding. After that, we grabbed a couple of drops and I decided to take a sneak peek over at a dead island or half dead island for those that know the center. So I don't know what I mean because half of it is dead and half of it is green. Yeah, that's where you get all the cool carnivores or high-leveled carnivores. And that's what I was in search for. Though, we had a problem. How do we tame things on that very dangerous island? Day 10 and I spent my time literally building the solution to the problem I had the day before. Yes, peeps, I call this the Dino Napper 1000. Fun fact, this is the map that I started to tinker with taming rafts. So yeah, it really helps a lot. So the next day we travel across to the half-dead island. That is what I'm going to be calling it from now on, to search for a couple of high-leveled carnivores that I could tame. In particular, I was looking for some really cool carnos. That way I couldn't get jumped by them raptors. We went around the island looking for some. We did find one or two, maybe more, maybe. Alright, yeah, it was a big mess, okay? I do understand that, but at least we know the Dino Napper 1000 really works. And after that, we shifted them back to our side of the map. Day 12, we arrived safely back at base, and I had to prune out some of the dinos we didn't need. Of course, there were more than what we bargained for, but it was all good. Yeah, sort of. We were able to get them out one by one. Yeah, painstaking, I know, but we had to do what we had to do. Gee, eventually getting to the carno that we really needed to tame, which was the easiest part of everything that happened that day. Yo, dude, what the freak? Yeah, I'm as cool as ice. We took down an avocado. We the boss. Day 14, I went inland with my Pteranodon to go and grab some cementing paste. Now I knew a couple of spots where we could find some beaver dams, and getting beavers away from them dams ain't that difficult because many of them have cliffs. We could just cut them off it and then steal it. Yeah, and well, the beavers also helped us as well. Darn, they are so freaking strong. I then went back to base and we were able to craft our fabricator. We just needed to find a place where we could actually put this thing. Day 15, and I needed some oil to create some gasoline. Aha! You think that might be difficult, but not. You see, we have some tech dinos here in Ark PC, and when we destroy them, we get a whole bunch of goodies. So that's what I did. I went around the entire island just chomping on some of the tech dinos we could find, mostly parasaurs, so we got a whole bunch of oil and we were able to craft some gasoline for our Fabby. Day 16, I took a dangerous trip to the volcano island, which I believe that is what it's called. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. It's been a while since I've been on the center. We went there to get some obsidian. I tell you why in a bit. Yeah, so I wanted to get some obsidian. I thought it was the closest place where we could, you know, find some. It wasn't the safest place, of course, but eventually we did grab a couple of obsidian, and moving with a Pteranodon, we couldn't carry much. But it was enough. So we got some obsidian, and the reason why I needed a couple of these is because I wanted to craft my first cryopod. Yeah, it will make things a lot more easy for us here on Ark. So we went to the other side of the island where we found the blue obby, and that's where I craft this magnificent piece of beauty. Day 17, and I went back over to the half-dead island. I knew that there were a ton of Argies at that place, and we could stand a chance of taming something really cool. Equipped with my taming pen, I sought after a really high-level Argie and a spot where I could lay my trap. Yeah, that was a bit of a difficult thing to do. As I said before, this is kind of a dangerous place. But yeah, eventually we found the perfect spot, the perfect Argie, the perfect tame. Day 18, it was time to leave the nest. Yes, peeps, I decided to go ahead to leave my first base and find a more permanent base. I had quite a good idea where I'd like to build one here. The center has tons of ruins, and finding one that's perfect for us was the key. Yeah, less base building, more taming. So yeah, we went to the center of the island where we looked at a couple of spots I was interested in. Some were really cool, some had water caverns inside, which would be perfect for water tames. But in the end, I found the perfect spot because it was flat and had loads of land and loads of areas where I could store my dinos and the extra structures that I needed. Yeah, it was all good. I chose this one right here and placed the marker. This one is a bed. To find it when I have to come back here with all of my stuff. Day 19, and we were back at the new spot with our RG this time around, and we needed to beef up the fences. Yeah, we were part of a mountain, I believe, where we were sandwiched in the middle. Things could actually fall from the top into our new base area, so we had to get a whole lot of spikes done and put it around base and also on top of the mountains. We could actually get away with living here with less of a security system, but it would be fixed later on with some of the dinos we would tame. Day 20, with our new base location now fully secured, or somewhat secured, I was confident enough to go back to our old base and gather all our stuff from there to take it over to our new base spot and make that our official home. So we grabbed whatever we could and stuffed it into our RG, crafted a few crafting stations, a smithy, fabricated some forges just to get ourselves set up at the new spot, grabbed Liechtenstein, and we said sayonara, baby. Now that's a beautiful view, and it's all mine. Didn't work out well. Day 21, and it was our time to get some helper dinos. The name of the game, Yankees, Dodicarus, whichever ones we could find first. Yeah, well, we got the Yankee, and I believe it is a setting that it's on default with the spikes that hurts me and my dinos, but doesn't hurt wild dinos, which is kind of strange. By default, it should work the opposite way around. Am I right? But anyways, we can still use it to our advantage. That is how we build traps these days. And it was an easy peasy, lemon squeezy, tame Yankee tame. Day 22, we were still on this taming spree fever. Yeah, we got the Yankee done, but we needed a couple more dinos as well. So the next best thing we got was a Dodicarus. It was kind of a slow dino, so I wasn't stressed about it. So we just let it run around base whilst I tried to trank it. And well, when it got knocked out, I went ahead and grabbed a Castroides for wood. Yep, all these dinos were close by, so it wasn't that much of a hassle. And we ended off the day with 2 spectacular harvesting dinos. Day 23, we were back at it again, being professional thieves. I'm just kidding. But we did actually steal. Yeah, well, we had to. We had no other way of getting these resources. Went to hit down some of the Castroides or beaver dams to get some cementing paste for some of the saddles we needed to craft. I believe the Castroides needed some. Yeah. Well, that's what we needed it for. So we could be better equipped and start grinding some of the stuff we need to progress on Ark. Day 24, peeps, and I was done. I was done with the defenses of the base. Our base had metal and stone structures. Nothing really could harm us now. So, we were in a good position. We could actually just end off here, if you know what I'm saying. Nah, just kidding. With that done, we took a trip to Skull Island. If you guys don't know, I think most of you guys might not know, because some of you guys are coming from my mobile fan base. If you don't know what Skull Island is, well, this is Skull Island. Yeah! Why am I taking you here? Because I needed some obsidian, and this place right here, my friends, has a ton of obsidian, and so we just grinded it as much as we could carry and headed off to base. Day 25 though, day 25. Now, this was the day. This was the day I started to get ready to craft my cryo fridge. I mean, I even went out to go ahead and craft the electricity needed. We got the Jenny, we got the fuel, we got the wires, we've got the box, we've got everything ready. I even went ahead and prepared all of the resources needed to craft this said cryo fridge. I went on further to fly over to Blue Obby to craft said cryo fridge. What I didn't realize is that I didn't have the levels to craft it. Was that a pity? Because I was convinced I could craft it. I took my frustration out on the Alpha Raptor that was close by. Well, hey, guess what? It gives us levels too, you know. Day 26, I was still in pursuit of some experience points to increase my levels. So I had to go to the volcano island, where I thought as much they would have tons of alphas. And I was correct, there was plenty. But we only had our Archie with us, and Arcano I don't believe would take all of them on, so I had to do it with the Archie. I also spotted a max level freaking Rex, which was surrounded by these alphas. So yeah, I singled out one of the Alpha Raptors and tried to take it out, but the darn freaking Rex kept following us. Everywhere I went, every turn I took, there that darn Rex was there, looking at us, staring at us, trolling us. I just give up, man. Day 27. Yeah, this is where the Dino Napper 1000 comes in handy, because remember it was the previous day we spotted a couple of high-level Rexes. Well, guess what? Today's the day we tame them. So we took out the Dino Napper 1000 across to the volcano island and kited the 150 Rex into it. Yeah, it worked perfectly. And we took it over to the island just across for a safer taming experience. I must say that taming some high-level Rexes are quite easy, especially when you know this trick. Whew, that was close. Darn freaking the Jixiest. Take that, you little Scriiib, and that. Alright, I'm just kidding. That's not obviously not gonna work for now, but it scared me. Anyways, we were back at Volcano Island. We tamed the Rex the previous day, 150. This time around, we are back for the 140. Yes, so we can get a mated pair. Yeah, male and female. Start working on some boss Rexes, if you know what I mean. So we brought over the Dino Napper 1000 yet again to kiten the Rex into it again. Yeah, this one is a bit tricky, but we managed to get it in. Take it over to the other island and use the other Rex as a stepping stool to tame this Rex. Yeah, I'm bad. Day 29, we went back to the volcano, this time with so much more firepower. We had 2 freaking high-level Rexes, and we just annihilated everything in our paths. Rexes, Alphas, Spinos, everything got super levels from it. And guess what? I finally had the levels to get the cryo fridge. Booyah! Day 30. If you didn't guess this by now, well, then I don't know. I don't know what else to say to you. But you got it right. I went ahead to craft our cryo fridge. The thing we couldn't craft the other day is now possible thanks to our Rexes. So we had all the resources ready for it, of course. We just needed to craft it, go back to base and place it down, and finally be safe with our cryopods. Thank you very much. Day 31. It's nothing much really. We just went to tame another freaking high level Rex. Yes, 145 to be exact, because we needed a couple of Rex stats to mix up and mash up so we could get a decent Rex. You know what I'm saying, for the boss. Not that I know much about breeding. It's my first time actually trying to get something good to take on the boss, so I thought I might just give it a go. So we used the Dino Napper 1000 once again, which made for an easy Rex tame, of course. Got him! Day 32, back at base, and I thought I'd try my luck with breeding some of the Rexes we tamed the previous days. I know I'm not the best breeder, of course, and what I know is really scary, but hey, it's worth a try, right? So yeah, I had to get a couple of ACs first in order to hatch our eggs, of course. We went ahead and got our first egg. By the stats that I've got, I know it wasn't the best, no, but we shall improve on that over time. Day 33, I spotted a beautiful Spino that was high level close to base. Now I know these dinos are a breed of a different kind because normal taming pens do not work with them, and they seem to, I don't know, glitch out of it. We know this. We can still play around with the trap and make it as safe as possible, so I built the first trap in order to try and test this. As I figured, with my first try, the Spino wasn't able to be contained in this trap. I did a little tinkering here and there and tried again. Guess what? This time it worked, but I was still not as convinced that it would stay. So I tried to get it down as fast as possible, which we did. And eventually we got the freaking Spino tame. Day 34, after completing our Spino tame, we went ahead to craft its saddle and take it for a little spin. I also noticed the previous day whilst tranking the Spino that there was a little otter playing around our taming pen. I thought it was a good idea to get that actually. It will really help us, especially with those temperature problems, and yeah, well, that's basically what I use the otter for. So my ingenious idea was to use this gigantic trap we built for the Spino to, well, trap the otter so it cannot run anywhere. But I know in the mobile version it's kind of different to tame the otter. It's actually a knockout tame, but here on PC things get a little tricky. You actually have to drag a fish up to it, and I know I haven't been playing PC for a while, so yeah, it was kind of strange for me, but really cool at the same time. Well, I went out looking for a fish. We got one, and well, we needed 2 actually, and fed the otter the fish and tamed the little fella. Isn't it the sweetest thing you've ever seen? Day 35, well, I just hatched a couple of Rex eggs. Still wasn't happy with the stats, but what else can I do? It's still a work in progress. Yeah, that's about it. It was day 36 and I began to think about running the caves because I needed the artifacts to do some of the end game things. Keeping that in mind, it was off to the redwood to grab a Thylaca Leo. I know that they are much more stronger than sabers, and with our cryopods, well, we can sneak them into the caves and do it much more easy. And I did not go into the deepest parts of the redwood because I know how much of damage these things could do. But from the outskirts of redwood, we could spot a couple of thylas. I did, however, spot a 145, which is close to max, and I thought that it would do the job. We were ready with our prefabbed taming pen in our bags. All we had to do was actually find a really decent spot to place it down, and the next tricky part was to try and kite the thyla to the taming pen. Yeah, well, that was a bit of a tricky situation, because no matter how careful you can be, there's a chance that it will jump you, especially when you don't have a quits or something to help you, which I didn't have at the time. Though Kamz never goes down without putting up a fight, I thought of a brilliant plan of action. Yes, peeps, we used bait, and guess what? It worked! It freaking worked! Kamz is a freaking boss. I'm just kidding. Kamz is just... It's just Kamz. Alright, it worked. We managed to kite the thyla up to the taming pen, and the rest was history. We got it, man. We got day 37. We were back at our spot at the redwood, just because I knew it was the safest area that we know. So yeah, we were back with our Thylac and Leo so we could level it up to face the creatures of the caves. That's what we needed to do. There was a couple of dinos we took out just to level up or pepper the levels so we could take on something much bigger that was just in front of us. Yes, an volcano. Do I dare say we ripped its guts apart? Yeah. Not a match for us. Day 38, searching for more levels for our Thylacolea and more alphas. That was the aim of the game today, so we went back to the volcano island where I thought we would find a couple of alphas, and we did, but not so many this time. Just a couple, or one maybe. A raptor, which wasn't a match for us, of course. We had this beauty right here, the Thyla, and just for an appetizer we went for a Rex as well. Day 39, and yes, it was time for us to finally start the cave-in business. Yeah, we needed to collect a whole lot of artifacts so we could actually fight the boss and complete our 100 days of survival. So, I decided to take on one of the easiest caves of the center. I'm assuming it's one of the easiest caves. I don't really know any of the caves on the center. I had to learn on the job here. So, this was the artifact of the hunter. It seemed to be quite easy, but I mean, we had the Thyla, so anything in the cave would be devoured by our almighty Thyla right here. Alright, so we cleared the cave. There was nothing to take us on, and got the artifact of the hunter for a trophy. We tamed a dung beetle, though I couldn't really take it out of the cave. We didn't have any spare cryopods, so we just left it there. Day 40, we were back in the artifact collecting business. This time around, we went for the artifact of the massive, which apparently was on the same volcano island and a much more bigger cave. Yeah, it was just crazy. And I do love the freaking jump at the beginning. That, however, caused for a very difficult exit, although we did have a Thyla, so we were able to use that. Anyways, in this cave, I mean, it was just really huge, so we could use our Rex, which we just tag teamed our Rex and our Thyla. Actually, it didn't really cause us much trouble because, as I said, we just did a tag team there. The Rex was there to just chomp on everything, and the Thyla we used to, well, traverse the cave. It was the faster of the two. So yeah, eventually we did get to the artifact of the massive. Day 41, I went in search for a water dino. Yes, peeps, couple of the artifacts required us to go under the sea, or underwater at least, to grab them, so that's what we did. I found a couple of spots where we found high-leveled Ixties, though they were surrounded by some nasties and a couple of alphas. So the first spot, well, we went with our Spino, and we thought we'll just bust him around with that, but it was quite difficult trying to eat something or fight something underwater. You should try it. It's a mess. We gave up eventually and went to the other spot where I thought if we could lay a trap that might work. Well, that wasn't a good idea. Day 42, I was back at it, this time with my Rex, because we had to rest our Spino. It took a lot of damage. And at this new spot where I did find an XD, it was, of course, protected by an Alpha as well. So the only other strongest dino I had was a Rex. So we decided to fight a sea creature with a land creature, the Rex. Well, you know what, it wasn't too bad. The Rex won, of course. It was a bit tricky, but it worked. After dealing with the Megalodon, it was time for us to tame the XD. Came in with my scuba gear this time. I should have used it the first time around. It was so much easier to tame this XD. Day 43, it was time, guys. It was time for me to hatch 2 more Rex eggs. I was excited to see what we will get from it. Needless to say, I was quite disappointed because we were still struggling with them stats, man. But you know what? It's okay. It's a work in progress, as I said before. Day 44, I named this rescue mission Extraction of the Dung Beetle. Darn it! Okay, so I had to tame a new one. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll admit it. So I have a slight obsession with Rexes. I don't know what it is with me and Rexes, but we seem to have a special connection. So we tamed this thing. It was easy, of course, with our napper. Dino Napper 1000. Day 46, and I started to prepare for our greenhouse. Luckily, we had the dinos to help us gather all of the resources needed, so it was quite an easy job. Yes, we needed those veggies fast because all of those juicy recipes are just waiting for us, and we can't do anything about it right now. But in time we will. I found a really cool spot to place this down where it wouldn't take any damage and it was out of the way, and I was A-okay. Day 47, I decided to go ahead and hatch a couple more Rex eggs. This time around, I started to see some progress with them stats. I was seeing something I like. Look at that health. It's picking up there. So yeah, it was going towards the right direction. Day 48, still with the active breeding some more Rexes. I finally got the Rex that I wanted, or the stats of the Rex that I wanted. Yeah, it kind of looked good to me. Like I said, I don't know much about breeding. Out of all the Rexes I had, these were the best stats. And I know you can get higher, but to me, this was it. Day 49, after getting the stats for the Rexes that I wanted, I went ahead and bred some more so we can have more of them and breed more of them and probably get some mutations or start some other kind of crazy stat breeding thing. I don't know, but our army of Rexes had begun. Day 50, and it's the halfway mark, peeps. Yes! And I needed a break from all that breeding back at base. So we went out taming, and I tame for either two things. Whether if it's a super high level meat tame, it just crushes everything in sight, or it solves a problem for me. This time around, we needed to solve a problem. Yes, we had a problem with cementing paste, and I know back on RPC, well, not actually RPC, but any Ark, even on mobile, if you tame a froggy, you would be able to get some cementing paste if you go ahead and attack those little bugs. So, we went out to the swamp, picked out a high level froggy, took it to a safe spot where we could tame it. It wasn't that difficult, we had everything we needed, plus a good set of taming gear, and man, Bob's your uncle. Day 51, and it was time to test the power of our Uncle Bob. Yeah, I'm just messing around. We went back to the swamp with our froggy that we tamed the previous day and started licking all the bugs we could find. Do they taste juicy? Well, I do not know about that. We did grab a couple of stacks of cemented paste, which means I was on the money, peeps. Day 52, with our cementing paste problem now finally sorted out, we started to work on our greenhouse. But we had to go firstly to go and grab some of the resources needed. So we grabbed Anki and grabbed a couple of crystals along the way. Then we started working on the greenhouse itself. Yeah, this was all visual, by the way, so I had to just do a couple of things to get things sorted out here. It was a trial and error run. I had sort of an idea of what it should look like. It still needed to be done and pleasing to the ice. Day 53 peeps, and I was finally done with the greenhouse build. I really love the way it turned out, complete with its own watering system and piping system. Man, was this a full well-oiled greenhouse machine. Yeah, we even started growing some crops, and well, we didn't have running water. It was quite far away, but the water tank should do because it does rain often here on the sensor map, so I was good with that. Didn't really worry too much about it. Day 54 is time for us to go ahead to grab the artifact of the clever. Yeah, this was a snow cave and very tricky indeed, but we did a little tag team here and there with our Thyla and Rex, which proved for this cave to be really easy. In fact, it is easy now that we had the cryopod. Yeah, we have the dinos to help us. Yeah, we just managed to get this one because somehow I forgot my Yata, and well, managing the temperature wasn't that great. But I don't know, somehow we managed. I guess it was the good armor that we had. You know what? I'm just happy that we came out of that without dying, because I mean, it would really hurt this video if I did die. Rep Day 55, and I noticed I neglected some of the chores back at base. I mean, this is a single player world and it's just me on this world, so someone had to do it, and that someone is me, as you may have figured out. So we did go ahead and grab a couple of seeds, did some farming, and then went on to do a couple of metal runs with Wanky and RJ. Day 56, well, as you can see, it's Kevin 2.0. I cannot remember where I placed our original Kevin, so we had to tame another Kevin. Sorry, original Kevin. So yeah, back to it. We did the notoriously difficult artifact of the pack. We cheated, by the way. We got some Thyla skills there. Oh man, was this awesome. Day 57, we grabbed our Rex for a little meat run to feed the babies we have growing back at base. Yes, there's a whole lot of Rexes, and we need a whole lot of meat. What do you think I'm gonna do? Yeah, what I'm doing. Day 58, we travel to the snow. Let me just tell you something, the center map is quite huge, and to get from one side of the map to the other side of the map takes a very long time. So no wonder some of these days are just kinda, well, short. Well, that's because I had to travel a very long time, okay? But never mind that. Right now, what we went to the snow to do was to collect some poly. Why do I need poly? Well, organic poly. Why do I need organic poly, you might say? Well, we'll have to wait for the next day, right?
Don't play with me, man. Play with your...
Oh, there we go. Day 59. Welcome back, peeps. Well, you wanted to know why I collected all that poly. In fact, I collected more than that. I collected some other resources. And to tell you why, well, I wanted to craft the freaking indie forge. Yes, guys, that's what we need all that juicy resource for. I mean, that thing is freaking huge and requires a freak load of resources. But, I mean, with the dinos we have, and, I mean, it's not too bad, right? So, yeah, take off the industrial forge. We got it. Oh yeah, peeps, it's day 60. Time for me to show you the Rexes I've been working on. Back here, we have a whole lot of Rexes in line. I mean, they popping off at about 10k HP and 500 plus melee. I still don't know if it is the greatest, but to me, I'm happy about it. It looks decent at least. And this is without trading, so when I trade them and stuff, it's gonna be beast, man. It's gonna be beast. Day 61, and we were off to get the artifact of the brute. Now, this was kind of a strange thing because this artifact was in the middle of nowhere, not in a cave particularly, but still not that easy to get because there were a lot of creatures and dangers around this one. Because for one, it was under the sea and there's a lot of freaky dinos down there. With some fancy footwork, we managed to narrowly escape with the artifact in hand. Day 62, yeah guys, we're caving again, but this time not for the artifacts, This time was something completely different. Yes, we went for those cave loot drops. I was in search for a Rex saddle BP in particular. I didn't know that you couldn't get Rex saddles in nothing less than a red drop, which I totally didn't know until, well, you'll see later. But this is my thinking here. I thought you could get lucky with getting a Rex saddle from just I guess yellow drop. I don't know. Okay, I didn't do my research back then. Day 63, I went back to the redwood, back at the spot where I laid the trap because it's the safest place I know. And I was looking for a really high level diabear. Why, you may ask, is because, well, it's good with honey and beehives and crap on PC. Really helps if you didn't know. We did manage to find a high level diabear and get it into our trap. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, we got it killed. Wasn't me. So we had to settle for second best, which eventually we did get the tame. Day 64 still in the redwood. I wanted to get a beehive. The only way to get a beehive is to get a queen bee and tame it. Now this is a very lengthy process because we have to go around the redwood checking each and every beehive that we find, because some of them don't have queen bees in them and it's quite dangerous in the redwood if you do not know about that. So we had to take a really sneaky approach to this. Eventually, after trying a few beehives, we found one that was occupied and we had to destroy this said beehive along with its worker bees so we can call out the queen bee, and we had to tame it with some rare flowers. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go, the beehive. Day 65, my objective for today was to build a really cool beehive farm, only to realize that you needed to place it on ground. Well, that was a bummer. We then proceeded to mess around with the beehive and got stung really badly. Don't do that. It's not clever. Day 66, returning from the redwood, I went ahead to tame yet another queen bee. Yup, we had 2 beehives at base, though it was double the amount of stings we'd be getting this time around. So went ahead to work on the little structure I had placed down the previous day, or for the little honey farm I wanted to build. This time using it for a breeding pen instead. I had plans for it for later use. Oh yeah, day 67, there we go, the secret is out. This is what I was building the little breeding pen for. Yes, our own organic poly farm. We went out to the snow to grab a couple of penguins, to grab a couple of mated pair penguins, that is. We did manage to find a whole lot of penguins there, so it wasn't that difficult. Knocked them out and fed them their own kind. Freaking cannibals. Day 68, and I bred a couple of penguins, though with the settings I have for breeding, it was quite difficult to mature them, so with the surplus amounts of organic polymer, I used it instead to craft a freaking chemistry bench. We were up in our game, of course. I also spotted a really cool yellow drop with a ring on it, so I wanted to have a look at it. Still thinking I was able to get a Rex saddle from it. Who knew? Kamz such a Scriiib. Day 69, and I went ahead to hit a couple of beaver dams that was close by base. There were many around, so it wasn't much of a problem. I needed the cementing paste anyways. Why, you may ask? Well, I wanted to build a tree platform and also some tree sap taps. Yep, I needed sap again. Once again, why? Because we needed veggie cakes, of course. Why do we need veggie cakes? Well, you sort of know what I need it for, right? Do I have to tell you? Nah. Yeah, day 70 was quite chilled. I went towards the redwood, of course, to place down the tree platform and the few tree septaps that I did craft. I also tried to tame an ape man. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, so I called it a day. Day 71, I returned to base from a very long day's worth of drop hunting with some darn fine loot, and then lavished myself with the fruits of my labor. I mean, just look at all that narco berries. It's just Brilliant. Oh yeah, day 72. I clearly remember this one. At first, I went ahead to do my routine chores, just collect some metal so we can fill up our forges. And then we had to have a little fun. It's a game after all, and why not have fun in it? So, remember the previous day's loot? Well, we had a rifle, and I wanted to try that out. Yes, we sprayed everything in sight, from trikes to bugs to mushrooms, and I had more fun than ever. Oh jeez, day 73. I went towards the redwood to check on my tree sap tabs. Yeah, I was hoping to find a couple saps or sap in there. That didn't happen. Oh well. I guess it's off to drop hunting then. Day 74, I spotted a high-level tapahar, which I wanted to tame, of course. You can use it to tame something really juicy. I'm guessing you guys all know about that, right? That's the reason I wanted to tame the tappy. So, I decided to go ahead and tame it. I had two methods. The one was run at it with a bowler, though that proved to be difficult because a freaking tappy did not want to land for some odd reason. On our PC, it is another easy way of catching these little Scriibs. Yep, we used the rare flower, and well, it followed us. That's the trick here. It's the trick with some cool bowler skills this time around. We got it bowled, tranked, and tamed, just like that. Easy peasy. Day 75, returning from the snow biome with enough oil and other resources to craft more end-game structures. This time around, I went ahead to craft an industrial griller, cooker, and vault. Some of these will greatly increase the speed of cooking us a really good chow. Now, if you're a hungry man or woman, may I suggest you investing in one of these fine pieces of man's ingenuity? Day 76, alas, we were in luck peace at the redwoods again with our tree sap taps, and this time they were full, which I greatly appreciated because we waited a very long time for them. So I rushed back to base as quick as I could with my RJ, got into my dio bear and harvested the honey, which I knew we had loads of in our beehives. We did get stung by our own bees along the way, but it was still all good because we had better things to do. Got all the resources needed and went straight to our indie cooker that we prepped up before this and was ready to cook up a storm. Yes, peeps, we were able to cook our veggie cakes in no time, giving us the surety that we will be getting something really cool soon. Day 77, we ventured out to the swampy marsh. We needed to find a low-level argenta because we needed some of that juicy argenta paste. Yup, that's what we want. We were able to find one, and on our way back to base, we spotted a yellow drop, which I was really interested to see what we could find. Still thinking that we could find a Rex saddle. Yeah, I know, but at that time, it took me far later on to figure this out that we couldn't. We went back to base with the snail in hand, tranked it, and now that we have veggie cakes, was able to tame it. Booyah! Day 78, we grabbed 2 more snails to tame. That was about it. Really? Day 79, back into one of my favorite caves on the center island, in search of the elusive Rex saddle, not knowing that I wasn't able to find it in these kinds of situations, but hey, there was a loot drop and still some juicy loot. Day 80, peeps, and I was back at the snow biome, this time around to tame Ayyoooo Tyrannus. Now, grabbing one of these will greatly increase our chances of defeating the bosses. So, what I had to do next was lay down my trap. A 2x3 will do for this tame, though we had to be very careful because there was a Kano, well, an alpha Kano nearby, plus there was the Kano minions that follow our UT friend. With this in mind, we had to wait for the opportune moment to strike and kite the Tyrannus into our trap. With that accomplished, it was easy peasy's taming from there. All we had to do was trank it with our extremely powerful long neck and get the prime meat needed, which was enough for us to tame Ayyoooo Tyrannus friend. Day 81, after waiting for Ayyoooo to tame up, I believed I had to start training up some of the Rexes. I had the 20-odd Rexes that I raised up to get them ready for the boss battle. So there was an volcano nearby, of course, from the previous day. It was a good chance for us to try and level up and see some of the stats, or the stats we could take our Rex up to. Day 82. Well, this was a crazy day because I decided to go to the deepest parts of the ocean in order to try my luck with the deep sea loot crates. Of course, this was the best chance for me to get a Rex saddle. I turned out to be very dangerous, and I was scared. Okay, I can tell you now, I was scared. So I just bailed. Day 83, I was on my way to the volcano island to level some of my Rexes when I spotted in the distance a red drop. Instinctively, I wanted to go ahead and check it out. Lo and behold, my fellow peeps, this was the magic drop because I just found myself a freaking Rex saddle. Yes, an apprentice one. I don't know if it's any good, but it's better than the normal, I suppose. Anyways, I'm still good with it. After that, we went onwards with our planned objective for the day. That was to level up more Rexes and take out some volcanoes. Day 84, and I began to start prepping up for them Rex saddles. Yes, peeps, I had 20 or so to craft, and that means loads and loads of resources to collect. I had to get it done as soon as possible in order for me to be ready for them boss battles. So, grind on, peeps! Day 85, I was quite on track with my Rex saddle preparation, so I wasn't really worried about it too much, though we had to wait for a couple of resources and we could get things done. In the meantime, it was for us to go ahead and level up some more Rexes. So we grabbed a couple and flew over to Volcano Island and chomped on many of the alphas as we could find. It's the best way to level up. We didn't know. Yeah, day 86, it was hide collecting time. Peeps, you do know how much of hide we need for the freaking Rex saddles, don't you? We need 20 of them. Remember? So, yeah, man, tons of hides were collected on this day. I still dream about them. Day 87, in preparation for the boss battle, I had to get cryopods for all the Rexes and dinos that I was gonna take over to the boss fight. Yeah, it was just a crafting session. But that's about it. Day 88, if you enjoyed the previous day's crafting session, guess what? There was another just for you today. This time we had enough resources to craft all of the Rex saddles that was needed. This was the day of my life. We were ready, man. Almost. I needed a couple of Rexes to level up first. Day 89, I thought I'd level up more than one Rexes at once. So my idea was to go towards the snow cave. There we have Yetis and high level dinos. And my thoughts were, you know what, we'll get a couple of good levels from there. So I unleashed my Rex pack into the ice cave. Let's just say, nothing left to tell the tale. Day 90, I decided to take a break from all the work I was doing. Yeah, these past few days were quite hectic from all that grinding and leveling up and just crazy stuff. So yeah, just me trying to do something that was really relaxing. So I stayed back at base and tended to some of the maintenance work that I had to do, mostly just to check up on my snails and feed them, and then craft more veggie cakes, keep them ready for the next feed. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that was about it. Yeah, I needed to tame a light show because back at base we had a couple of Rex packs, and well, we just needed to get a few more levels for them. So this is what I had to do. Day 92, well, we had a bunch of starving Rexes and some other dinos back at base, and they all needed some food. Really, I was the only person that could do anything about this. So we went out for a beach run, and at the same time tried to level up some of the Rexes I had. So, It's a win-win situation here, right? Day 93, we took a trip to the snow. Thought we'd find some nasty beasts at that side of town. Sure enough, we did. An avocado surely will help us get us the levels we need. Yeah, day 94, you guessed it. We went to level up more X's. Yay, exciting! Now this was a little fun from the boring stuff we did previously. Yeah, I spotted a quetzal and we had a tappy, so we went ahead to tame it. I must say, it was quite an easy tame with our freaking OP long neck. And also with the controls on PC made it absolutely easy peasy. I can't tell you how easy this is. We had shortcuts or key shortcuts that made this whole thing. You know what? I could tame a max level quetzal like this and have no problem. It was that easy. And we did it so quickly too. At the snow, might I add. We got a bit lucky, of course, because there wasn't anything that dangerous in the area. But man, was it a mighty great find. Day 96, nearing our boss fight. I was back at base just checking on some things. We also had enough resources to go ahead and craft the Quetz platform saddle. We can finally use this because the previous day we tamed the Quetzal. If you didn't know, it was pretty easy. Do I really have to tell you what's going on? Well, I guess so. This is the last of our Rexes that we needed to level up. It's done. That part is done. We just have to wait for these Rexes to heal up. And in the next day or two, that should be done. Day 98, while waiting for our Rexes to heal up, I thought I'd try my luck. Yeah, we went for a last minute drop hunt, thinking we could upgrade our armor or get lucky enough to upgrade some of the armor pieces we had. Unfortunately, luck wasn't on our side this time around because we ended up with absolutely nothing worthwhile. Day 99 peaks and last minute preparations were in process. Luckily we had most things done, though there were a few last minute things that needed to be sorted out. We had the machinery to make this a speedy one. We are ready for the next day's battle.